or this could be a very rash decision. I normally like getting in the afternoon, fishing a bit, and then having high water around about, I'm going to say 5. This is in the winter, it's getting dark. It's not high till about 11:30 tonight. So that's a horrible time because I have to drive hour and a half, hour and 3/4 to get down to the sea. It's my nearest place. So I took a gamble. I'm down here on the south coast. I watched the weekend weather forecast, which we get, guys, gives you a week in advance. So I give you a week in advance. Very light winds, northerly, that's off the shore, off my back. And that's it, nice and calm. I thought, brilliant. You know, even if the fish is rubbish, which it probably will be, at least I'll enjoy it. I get down here, it's raining, it's high pressure. What's that all about? What is that all about? High pressure, no rain, they said dry. Wrong. West to southwest, just slightly south of west wind. Good thaw, lovely thaw. I can't go up here, I'm hiding behind the breakwater at the moment. I've heaved out my big rod, great big chunk of mackerel. I just got to give it a shot like this. Not far off, something like that. It's out there. I'm going to walk back with that one unless it gets dislodged by the wind or whatever. I've got griplets on as well. And I've got a worm and mackerel strip combo on one, which I've thrown to the right hand side of the breakers here, in the hope that the belly and the wind goes like this and the wind blows up the line. So when you cast across, if you go anywhere across the wind straight 90 degrees to the wind, it's going to put a lot of pressure on it, possibly drag it out of position. The left hand rod, well, it's going to probably get dragged out of position, but I'm straight grips on all of them. I won't say it's cold, it's miserable, horrible. There's not a light to be seen except in people's lovely cosy warm houses where I should be. But listen guys, you know I'm going to be out there trying for you. UK beach fishing, who knows what's going to happen. Anyway, it's a biggish tide, so I don't know whether to set up base camp here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, I've got 4'6" at least of breakwater here, off of the westerly wind that's blowing, so it is a shelter for me to sit. So I won't need to put up my beach buddy shelter unless it rains. I've just got to watch the cameras and stuff like that. So if anything bizarre happens, people, I'll get back to you. I did all that work as well, rushing to finish the jobs just to get this. My heart wasn't in it, I have to say, my heart wasn't really in it today. I just came because I thought this is the time. This is the time when I should be out there with reasonable sized baits, and there's outside chance of one of those COD. Don't laugh. I'll take anything. A whiting would be nice. So for bait I've got, you can see them there, got some fresh ragworm. Actually in fairness they're quite good ragworm. You can see these here, pull one up. Big ragworm, nice big ones. Bass ones they are boys, bass, pollock. Cut them in half, place. Must be dreaming, mustn't I? And then, as I say, I've got mackerel, a big chunk of mackerel out. What else I got? Oh yeah, I've got some of these a bit unusual. If you can see those here, white bait, they really smell strong. I thawed them out. Going to give those a go, just whip them on with something else. Don't use them, they can go in. They've been frozen for about 2 years. More mackerel in there. I think I've got to keep one big bait out. Then I've got some of these. These are good in the boat. There you go. Whole shell on raw king prawns. They're raw, so they're not cooked. But that's a big one. That is, I think you'll agree, a real jumbo. So I might try one of those on small hooks and heave it out there. Good selection of bait, of which no doubt not much will take interest, but you never know. Yeah, another gentleman just came up. He's a beach fisherman. He lives 150 yards away. He said, are you local? I said, no, I'm 55 miles from the sea, so I'm not local. And he said, oh, it's going to be windy tomorrow. He's just telling me that it's very, very patchy at the moment to fishing, you know. I suppose one good night and 4 or 5 bad ones. Let's hope I'm on the right night, who knows. Anyway, got to be in it to win it, as the saying goes. I wouldn't say it's pleasant out here, it's not. That's why I'm the only person fishing. He probably thinks I'm mad being out here. I think I'm going to throw some small hooks out. Real small ones for maybe half a worm, and in case there's a flatty or something bizarre. Now, years ago I used to catch a lot of flatfish down there, loads of flounders and dabs. I think, one of my books, I think we had, 2 of us had a 50 something, over 50, in the daytime, believe that, not at night. Now why I've come down is really, the tide's totally against me until about 9 o'clock tonight. It's a long way to come for 2 hours fishing. But the principle I always work on, in the winter with a shallow beach, which is relatively shallow, when I fish in the daytime it's pretty rubbish. It's not really good unless there's a big blow and a storm stirring it all up. So if I'm going to get fish, it's going to be in the dark. So really the reason I sort of sold myself this trip is fish in the dark on a flood tide, albeit it is very late for me. Look, the specialist guys, they go out 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning just to get the tide. I'm not doing that. I've done all that years ago, but now I don't think the fish really justify it. You know, if I'm going to catch anything, I want to do it in a sort of relatively sociable time. As yet, 45 minutes, no bites. Nothing new there then. Let's put this out. Well, possibly an unwise decision tonight, guys. It's up to about 20 knots out the other side of this breakwater now. It's a good 20 knots there. Well, I think it's time for winding in a minute. Just check the baits. Probably going to leave the chunker mackerel, which is getting on for a third of a large mackerel there. It's got a big bait. I'm leaving that out, you know, just in case there's something big out there. Thornback ray, something like that. And I think I'm going to fire out small hooks and see how far I can get in this wind. It's going to kill my distance a bit, but I want to see if there's any weed out there. Nothing worse than weed and the wind pushing up. The weed pushes up the line, the waves get hold of it and it pushes all your gear right in, you might get tangled and lose your gear. It's time for a check, I think. Right, I've wheeled in the baits. Actually dozed off in the deck chair here. Got really cold, can't go to sleep. Wake up dead. Oh, it's cold though. Nothing on the big bait. 2 small hooks chewed. Look, just to give you a guide, there's a bait that's been out there, right? Lashed together, mackerel and ragworm lashed together there. That's been out over an hour. It just appears there's nothing there, and that guy said it was patchy. He wasn't wrong. Look, what's wrong with those baits? That's mackerel strip. It's just, it's not even shredded. Look, you'd normally get it shredded just on this. I'll put it back, you can see it. Just chewed on this tag end. It's really ridiculously weird. I mean, if I was boat fishing, I'd be sending that back out again. I could try the prawns, I suppose. 1 worm, 1 prawn. Let's do that. Something different. It's all I've done here, just show you, I've just lashed another ragworm on the back of that bait, so the hook is the point just there. I just lashed it on the back there. Who knows? I used to come here years ago, my goodness me, we had plenty of small fish, nothing. And there is the tail end of the North Atlantic prawn, but I've left the shell on there. If you can see that there. I've left the shell on so it, you know, crabs and stuff won't chew it off. So that's quite a tough bait. Just going to lob those out. And then we'll give it another 40 minutes or so soaking in the water. Cold. Anyway, here's the latest theory time. We used to have these theory times on Mike's channel, TA Outdoors. Used to get loads of comments, they're quite interested. I'm not catching anything. Painfully obvious, in survival circumstances, I would be close to starving, I suppose, close to starving. So, you've got your tackle, it's the end of the world, there's no supermarkets, there's no food, you've got to look after yourself, right? You've got a garden fork and you've got your tackle. You know where you can get some worms, so you go off, you dig some worms. Bear in mind, you're really, really hungry. You dig some worms, you come down to the beach, you might put a few on the hook and you're sitting there like I am catching absolutely nothing. Now then, do you eat those worms for protein to get you through to the next day, or do you take the gamble, put those worms on the hook, and fish like I'm fishing, seeing if you can catch anything, which might be, let's say, on a good night, 3 or 4 whiting, which will give you, say, 2 tonight, and then 2 at breakfast in the morning, if you're in a survival situation. Now, what you've got to take into consideration is this. You just burned a load of energy digging those worms. Are those worms enough protein to replace the energy you expended digging them? Or do you have to tough it out like this and risk having no worms to eat, but you might get a full belly of protein, not just tonight, but tomorrow as well? That's a weird one. I'll tell you what else is weird, guys. Let us know in the comments page what you think. Should you eat the worms, or should you tough it out like me and see if you can get a fish, higher protein, last you through the night? I'll keep glancing over here, because there's something really weird. There cannot possibly be 2 moons. One's up there, I've seen it before, but there's something out there at sea that looks like a second moon. See if I can zoom in on it. So what is that thing? Is that... It can't be a cruise ship, because we're in the middle of the coronavirus as I'm doing this. Nobody possibly in their right mind is going to want to go on a cruise ship, surely. Are any cruise ships running with people on there? Won't be running with me on there, I can assure you. But there's so many lights on there, I can't see it being anything other than a cruise ship. I didn't think anybody was cruising. Wow. I thought I was a bit mad being out all night catching nothing. Could be worse. I could be paying the electric bill on that boat. Oh, a million lights. Lovely. Right boys, I'm getting cold now. I have bought a bag of wood. Just small kindling wood. And I made a very bad mistake. Mike borrowed my flask and said to Mum, let's put that off for you. And says to Mum, can I have some cocoa, some hot chocolate in it? Well great, he's used a flask and now the last 14 times I've used it with tea in it, I've got tea that tastes of cocoa. So, I've got the kettle, I've got stuff in the car. I always take water and stuff in the car, especially if I think I'm going to fish a few hours into the cold of the night. Might be able to get a small beach fire going. Nothing much to eat, she didn't give me much this time. I really am in survival. I really might be eating the ragworm in a minute, put between the 2 crisps I've got left. But I've got a packet of dry soup, which again, I always take water and a packet of soup. So I might get the fire going, warm me up, and at least finish off. Doesn't look like I'm going to get any bites with some soup. What to do? It's not far to the car. I think I'll just chance it. It's better than eating those ragworm, isn't it? Hot soup. Well guys, just had a small whiting. I guess about this big. That big? That big. No, small whiting. On worms, small hooks, and a small worm. Didn't even see the bite. Grateful to catch something, so fingers crossed I might even see something else now. High pressure rain, which shouldn't be coming, is coming. So I've got the fire going there. I'm going to let it burn down a few embers. Hopefully I can get a cup of soup. I had that one whiting. I wish I hadn't put it back now. I'm starving. And you know what's like, the more you think about what you haven't got to eat. I've got one piece of bread left with a bit of cheese. Some little chocolate pan thing. I call them chocolate pan. If you eat too much chocolate, you get pain. So chocolate pan of chocolate, I think they call it, pan of whatever, you might know. It's French, Must be nice, wouldn't it, being French? Quite tasty actually, it's chocolate. A sausage roll tip, I don't know what it is. If I can get it down my throat and it keeps me alive till the morning when I can get breakfast, I'm happy. But the wind's gone round now. I guess that's why the rain's come. You can still see some lights further down, but it's changed direction. So come on, let's have a couple more whiting. Make it worthwhile the trip. Hopefully I can get boiling water off of this. I bought a rod rest and a piece of wire which I'm going to rig up and see if I can get the kettle over the top of it. It needs to burn down a bit. And I've moved up as far as I can up the beach because it's a spring tide, so I figure it's going to come up there somewhere. And I've got worms on everything now. Down to my last bit of tea. I've got to get that water boiling over that fire if I can. Got about an hour and a bit to high water. If the next whiting is anywhere near sizable, it might be on a one-way ticket. I can't believe my wife didn't give me more food. I don't know whether you people are the same. So it definitely works in the boat. The more slow the fishing is, the more you eat your way through your food bag and drinks. It's just the way it is. Boredom, I guess. Yeah, fire's burning through now. I've just filled up. I always leave a little bit of water in the canister in case I want some on the way home. Just got the kettle filled up. And what I intend doing, I've not tried this before, I've got the idea of Mike's bushcraft. I've got a regular bank stick there. I'm going to skewer it in. I've got a piece of wire. I'm going to hook in the top and then just put through the handle, hopefully, of the kettle like that. And I'm hoping I might be able to support it over the top of the fire. It's really going well now. That's the theory, guys. Look at this. It's absolutely ripping. I don't know how I'm going to pick it up. Oh, I can. This has worked a treat. That is absolutely steaming there. So that's me. Hot soup, hot hands, piece of wire and a bank stick. Well pleased. Yeah, quite hot. Yeah. Got all mud cons here, guys. These sort of billy cans like this, I used to have plastic cups, but these keep the heat way better. Way better. And of course, to keep it warm, if I do get a bite, I can just put it by the fire, watch it fall over. There we go. This is going to be a moustache melter. Too bad. Here comes the rain. Come on, fish. This is great. Save the blank, people. Yet again, a certain fish comes to my rescue. So that's one whiting. I can undo him. Mr. Dogfish. Every time I go beach fishing, I seem to get the trophy for this fish. What is that? More casts. All systems go. Let me tune this down for you guys. Second whiting. There we go. I've had that soup, so it's his lucky day. So, hanging on for that tide did make the difference. Put this off for you. See him better now. Good bit of fun. But you know what? Still a bit of heat left in that fire. Oh, sorry pal. It'd be worse, it could have bounced into the frying pan. Bring it on, boys. Another one. Bit of weed there. And there you go. You're on to biting those worms. I've got to nail them while I can. Well guys, gonna call it quits I think. Still getting white in now. There we go. Where is he? Is he in the lens? There he is. So still get some nice white in. Put them all back. But you know what? It's strange, I was talking about the theory time. Should I have eaten the bait? And if you're starving, not catching anything, very tempting to supply the protein from the bait. But by doing this, I got dogfish, half a dozen white in. I've got enough for feeding me tonight if I was in survival mode, and then breakfast in the morning and probably dogfish for lunch. Regular Joe average whiting, could have put him back, but it's interesting what I said about could have eaten the worms and then had a little bit of protein, maybe, but by holding out, I've got half a dozen whiting, dogfish that would feed me for tonight, tomorrow morning, and possibly lunchtime as well. Hit that subscribe button. TA Fishing, TA Outdoors. I'm going to get this guy back and pack up and be home by 2 AM. Wife's going to love me. Well, it wouldn't be totally awesome without that one last cast, would it? Oh, sorry guys. I can't help it, can I? Every fishing trip, the last cast, and I've still got the other rod to wind in. We'll see you next time, guys. I've really got to get home. Good fishing though, I've enjoyed it. You made me do it. You made me do it. How's that, guys? I mean, is that not bizarre, if you can see that? It's only small, but it is, that's right, a smooth hound, and it is the 1st of December. I can't believe I've had these fish, plus I found £10 note on the beach. Guys, we'll see you next time.